He notices the seating first. The boy, 9, narrow-shouldered, careful with his hands, takes the chair that isn't quite at the table. It's an inch back, just enough to require leaning forward. He does it automatically. He has learned where friction lives and how to reduce it. Across from him, his uncle occupies space without thinking about it. Elbows wide, laugh already warming up. Their father sits at the head, a role he doesn't question because it has never been questioned for him. The narrator sits to the side, close enough to serve, far enough to be overlooked. Dinner is meant to be a reset. That's what the father said. A chance to be normal, again. As if normal were a location they could return to by driving the same roads. The brother tells a story about a client who doesn't understand margins. He uses air quotes. He says numbers like they are proof of character. The father nods at the right places. The narrator tracks the pattern set up, punchline approval like a chart already familiar. The boy eats quietly. He cuts his food smaller than necessary. He does not interrupt. When the joke comes, it arrives without ceremony. The brother tilts his chin toward the boy. At least he'll always have janitor work, he says, smiling as if he's offered reassurance. World always needs that. The table laughs, not fully, but enough. The boy freezes. It's subtle, a pause that would pass unnoticed if you weren't watching for it. His fork hovers. His eyes drop. He does not look to the narrator. He has learned not to ask adults to fix things they help break. The narrator doesn't react right away. There is an internal process, brief, methodical. The statement is evaluated for intent, impact, pattern. This is not new. It's an escalation of an old permission. They consider silence. Silence has worked before. Silence keeps evenings intact. Silence keeps holidays on the calendar. They consider humor. Humor would require bending the boy's reality into something palatable for others. They choose accuracy. Yet your whole business runs because I keep the IRS off your back, the narrator says. The voice is even. Not loud. Not sharp. It is said the way one might mention a change in weather. The brother's smile fades. It doesn't collapse. It recedes like a tide obeying physics. Color drains from his face in stages. He opens his mouth, closes it, reaches for his glass, realizes his hand is shaking, sets it down. The father clears his throat. Let's not escalate, he says, already tired. The narrator nods once, not in agreement, in acknowledgement. They do not add anything. They do not need to. The room changes temperature. The brother sits back, recalculating. He has always assumed the narrator's help was a feature of the family, like gravity. He has never named it as labor. He has certainly never considered it leverage. The boy resumes eating. It takes him a moment. He lines his peas into a row, then eats them out of order. He breathes. Conversation attempts to resume. The father asks about traffic. The brother answers too quickly. The narrator listens, present but no longer smoothing edges. Then the phone vibrates. The narrator doesn't check it immediately. They wait until the vibration stops, then excuse themselves with a small gesture and step into the hallway. The message is a voicemail notification, a number they recognize. Neutral federal. They listen. The voice is procedural, polite. A request for clarification on a filing. A deadline mentioned. Nothing dramatic. Everything consequential. When they return to the table, they do not announce anything. They sit. They sip water. The brother watches them now, eyes narrowed, trying to read the quiet. A minute later, the narrator's phone vibrates again. This time, the brother hears it. He flinches. It's involuntary. Everything okay? The father asks. Yes, the narrator says. Just work. The word lands differently now. The brother sets his fork down. We should talk later, he says, not meeting the narrator's eyes. We can, the narrator replies. But not about this. The father frowns. What does that mean? It means, the narrator says, choosing words with care. That's starting next month. Anything I do for the company will be formalized. Engagement letter, clear scope, or it won't happen. Silence, the brother's face tightens. You're joking. I'm not, the narrator says, still calm, still precise. It's cleaner for everyone, the father exhales. You're making this bigger than it needs to be. The narrator looks at him then. Really looks. The lines at the edges of his mouth, the way his authority has always depended on others absorbing discomfort for him. I'm making it accurate. The narrator says, no one argues. There is nothing to argue with. Accuracy is difficult that way. Dinner ends early. Plates are cleared with unnecessary enthusiasm. The brother avoids the boy's gaze. The boy finishes his food. In the car, the narrator waits until the engine is running before speaking. You didn't do anything wrong, they say. I know, the boy says. He pauses. You didn't yell. No, the narrator says. I didn't need to. The boy considers this. He watches the streetlights pass. Uncle looks scared. He says not unkindly, sometimes. The narrator says, people get scared when they realize something they thought was free actually costs something. At home, life resumes its ordinary shape. Homework. Dishes. The narrator checks their email. A message from the brother arrives. Long, defensive. Then another. Shorter. Then nothing. They draft a response and delete it. Draft another. Delete again. Finally, they send a single paragraph. Clear. Boundaries outlined. No accusations. No explanations. The next morning, there is a reply. Agreement. Reluctant. Compliant. Weeks pass. The engagement letter is signed. Fees are paid. The brother's tone shifts, not warmer, but careful. The father invites them both to dinner again. The narrator declines. Not forever. Just for now. At school pickup, the boy runs to the car, breathless. He talks about a project he finished. He does not mention dinner. He does not need to. The narrator listens, steering with one hand, the other resting on the console between them. Some things have been lost. The ease of pretending, the convenience of unspoken arrangements. There will be awkward holidays. There will be stories told without them. But something else has been gained. Not victory, not revenge, alignment. The power is quieter now. Undeniable, but not loud. It sits where it belongs, doing its work without asking to be admired. The narrator drives on.